Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tony and this is the 15-Minute Gamer. Today we're checking out Project Motor Racing, the ambitious new sim racer from Straight 4 Studios and Giant Software. It was released on November 25th on PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. The base price is around about $60 or 55 to 65 quid depending on your region. But side note, if you grab all the DLC and Season Pass, you'll end up actually paying more for the extra content than you did for the core game. If you fancy getting yourself a VR headset, some new games, or want some online protection, check the links in the description for Pimax VR. They have an awesome Black Friday deal going on right now, Green Man Gaming and NordVPN. It helps a lot more than you might think. Now, normally I don't watch a lot of reviews before doing my own, but I had seen a few for this one, and as a filthy casual controller player, I thought, it can't be that bad. I'm happy if it feels a tad arcadey and a little bit off. I'm here to have fun. Logged into Steam to download and well, yeah. The question now is it as rubbish as people are making out? And the answer is, unfortunately, mainly yes. Anyways, what does this game offer? Project Motor Racing promises a lot. 70 licensed cars across 13 classes, 28 scanned real-world tracks, a modern physics engine, dynamic tyre grip simulation, and the full range of sim racing features, single player career, online multiplayer, and mod support. I think single player was the thing that sold me the most about this game. Running a team, paying for damage, it all sounded awesome. So first up, this is a racing game, so let's talk about the handling. And when Project Motor Racing gets it right, usually in the lighter, more approachable cars like the GT4 and MX-5 class machines, it feels rewarding. These cars have less power, less brutal aerodynamics, and their handling is far more forgiving. For these, you can get decent weight transfer, manageable braking, and a sense that you might bring the car home in one piece. But for the heavier GT, hypercars or high downforce vehicles, this is where the game struggles. Many cars just feel like they're on ice. They have a really unpredictable grip transitions and it's really, really weird. One moment you're flying around happily, the next minute for no reason whatsoever, you're flying into a wall. The factory approved physics engine gets called into question once you're at that limit. It also copies iRacing in the fact that grass is an ice rink. I mean, once you touch that grass, you might as well give up. Steering is twitchy, small inputs often lead to oversteer or understeer, and you're never quite sure what that car is going to do. However, I will say that once you plug the controller in, the game's like, you plugged the controller in. Do you want me to set the game up for you? And I thought that was really good. There was nothing to do. The default assists and the setup don't smooth it out enough. One wrong turn into a curb and you're spinning off the track. This is the same with the AI, and just to mention, they hit you or you hit them and you will go flying off and they just continue like nothing happened. It's almost like they're in a different physical space. Now, the thing I was looking forward to most was the career mode, and I'm sad to say it doesn't quite live up to what I was hoping for. It has a career mode where you basically pick any car you want. You can buy them, you can choose with no money, lots of money, or a little bit of money. It's up to you. You earn sponsorship, you race, you repair damage, and try and progress. But it's nothing you haven't seen a million times before. The only difference really is that you pay to get into a race series and then repair the car afterwards. But the choosing of sponsors, it's all very bare bones. There's no real impactful feeling that you're actually a racing driver doing this, or that you're having fun. It was all just a little bit too simple. Progression was minimal, and it's not somewhere I really want to spend a lot of my time, unfortunately. I much preferred Project Cars 2 approach, where you kind of worked all the way up from the bottom. I think if you added them two together, you would have had an excellent career mode, but as it is, it was just a bit of a letdown. Moving on to that DLC I mentioned, there's a year 1 season pass already, there's a GT Decade pack and Group 5 Revival pack, costing more than the base game. Cars are already locked with a paywall to access the full variety, which is rough when the base game costs 50 to 60 quid. The AI is super inconsistent. The AI is just really aggressive or dumb, whichever way you look at it. They'll just punt you off the road. There's so little awareness. They bunch up tight turns. You'll just be stopped in the middle of the road, especially on lap 1. I mean, if you imagine how bad Imola is normally, add in this AI, and it's not very good. They stick like glue to that racing line. If you happen to be on that racing line, well, you're going off the track. The AI difficulty sliders are just way off as well. One can be too low, you put up a few percent and they are smashing you by 5 to 6 seconds a lap. They're just not very fun to race against. Usually to have any fun I just put myself at the back and treat it like bumper cars. It was pointless trying to race clean because you can go off at a moment's notice. I just didn't enjoy being in the pack. And also, there's a really harsh penalty system. Like, you get knocked off the circuit by an AI, you get the penalty. You avoid a crash, penalty. You have a crash with yourself and become last, penalty. It's really annoying and there's no way to turn it off that I could find. Also, the racing line in the dark doesn't work. I've never ever seen that in a game. I'm colorblind, so racing lines can be a little bit tough sometimes for me to see, but for some reason in the dark, it just doesn't show what I could see anyway, where to brake. It's just a solid, normal colored line. It's really weird. And it was just a bit of a frustrating experience, especially to do with that handling as well. You can get like really clean laps, only for one tiny mistake like a curb or a curb strike to dump you into a tank slapping oversteer. That unpredictability just made it really annoying to drive. The physics engine, when it clicks, does give you some feedback: tire slip, curbs, drains, small bumps. These little details are pretty good, but then the next corner you do the exact same and you just smash off into the wall. That inconsistency really ruins your confidence and you never really drive to your full ability. The in-race experience isn't amazing either. Your spotter engineer hardly speaks. There's no real drama to the racing because of the AI just sticking to the same line. The damage model also isn't that great. I just thought it was over the top. And like bits of your body just go in funny angles, things fall off when they shouldn't do. It's nice to see it in a racing game, but it just felt a bit too arcade damage over sim damage. Anyways, let's talk about visuals and audio, and this is where I will give it a little bit of praise. Cars and tracks are beautifully modelled, however I would say the graphics are not great overall, but the models are good. Real world circuits, accurate liveries, dynamic lighting and reflections. They don't have many official licenses, so like Silverstone is Northampton, and there's fake sponsors everywhere, but they've done a decent job. The attention to detail on cars and tracks is decent. I saw quite a few reviews talking about performance. I'm running a 3080 i7 12700K and 64 gigs of RAM, and I ran at 60 to 80 FPS on Ultra with no issues. The track rubber, weather effects, and environmental details like rubber flying up and tyre marks on the grass give it a solid sim atmosphere. However, there were a few frame drops and at really awkward times, like go around a corner and it'll go, oh, I'll just do 30 FPS now. And you'd be like, what the hell? And then you would end up crashing again. Also, good place to talk about the UI. It's not very good. It's almost like someone amateurish did it. It's very unintuitive. It's basic. It's uninteresting. And when this is your first impression of a game, it's a little bit poor. Sound-wise, engines sound pretty good, tyre squeals, track ambience. Overall, sound does its job. It's not a feature-heavy soundscape by any stretch. There's no over-the-top crowd cheers, limited radio chatter, minimal cinematic flair. The audio is functional, just not over the top. So what's the verdict on Project Motor Racing? In parts, it's exactly what sim racing fans want: authentic cars, real tracks, detailed visuals, and a physics engine with promise. When you can find the right car, which is GT4 or lighter, and the handler model decides to work, you can get some satisfying laps. You do feel connected to the machine and enjoy some serious sim racing vibes. But, and it's a big but, the flaws are real and there's far too many of them. Controller play feels absolutely rubbish. Handling is just really inconsistent for many vehicles. AI and physics bugs exist. And also the cost to content ratio. And DLC should not cost more than the base game. It's just something that shouldn't be happening. For me, I would say this game it's a mid game. It's alright. Anyways, if you like this review, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching. I'm Tony, and this is the 15 Minute Gamer, and I'll see you on track.